Indeed, indeed, Mr. Boom Boy. The stream is just beginning. I'm playing a little bit of thematic music to get us kicked off. Now hold on, you may be saying. Thematic? This is hardly thematic. This is a German tankist song. We are here to watch the very British Trooping of the Colour. So what's going on with all of that? Well, I'm going to lower that volume just a smidge. We are here not only to watch and react to, because why not, the Trooping of the Colour. We are here to raise money for the Tank Museum. What is the Tank Museum doing? Well, we're going to find out right off the bat here because, what is that, Scoopmeister has given 10 very generous dollars towards the cause. We are raising money for the Tank Museum because they are restoring their Panzer, their Tiger II tank, their King Tiger tank, to running order. In fact, here, let me, we can pull up a video really quickly to demonstrate what exactly King Tiger II Tank Museum. Let's see here. They have a wonderful, little brief promotional video, which I can pull up for you all. Will this one do it? That will do it. Oh, I disappeared. Where did I go? Oh no! Oh no! Do I not have... I'm gonna pop back over here. Video capture. Copy. And then I pop over here. They are bringing back their King Tiger II, there I am, to running order. I'm going to keep on saying King Tiger 2. It's the Tiger 2, aka King Tiger. König Tiger, whatever. Do I still do reenacting? Yes and no. I am not a part of any 18th century groups at the moment. I left my Rev War group a while back, many years ago now. I have a World War I impression, although I don't do too many events because of material means I can't get out there all too often. Hopefully in the next year or so I'll be relocated to the UK and I'll be doing Napoleonic. Hopefully. Anyways, they are restoring their King Tiger tank to running order. And if they manage to do so, it will be, if I remember right, one of only 2 in the world then, because there's currently only 1, that actually, it is in running order. Oh, I just realized that Scoopmeister left a message as well. I don't know if it popped up or not. It should pop up. Maybe it didn't. Scoopmeister, when he gave $10 generously to begin our cause, said, money's for the charity or whatever. I don't know. I'm feeling generous. It is indeed for the charity. Let's learn about it here.
This is King Tiger V2, and this is the oldest surviving King Tiger in the world. And with your help, we're going to restore it to running condition. And it'll be the most ambitious project we have ever attempted.
It's going to cost over £1 million and take around 4 years to complete, but we'll keep you updated every step of the way.
But before we ask for help, let's have a look at why this vehicle is so special.
It was the second of 492 King Tigers to roll off the production line. That's why it's called V2. The V is short for Versuchs, the German word for trial. Built in December 1943, it would spend its entire service life at the Henschel testing facility. When this was overrun by Allied forces, V2 was found to be fully stowed and ready to fight, although we don't believe it ever fired a shot in anger.
What makes V2 unique
makes it very classic German, doesn't it?
King Tiger with this pre-production turret. 50 of these were built by Krupp, an abandoned Porsche tank design, and were repurposed on the earliest King Tigers.
Today, the vehicle is a shell. While some parts are in storage, others are missing.
As you might expect, the biggest challenge will be the engine and the gearbox. Its original engine block survives, but not all of its components. And as for its gearbox...
Driver tried to turn way too quickly and just destroyed the engine. Oh, and my stream is dying. Is my internet down? Load, make sure that I can see myself being back. Yes, indeed. Okay, hi everyone. Apologies. The driver tried to turn on way too much of a dime way too quickly and just completely stripped the engines all like that. And that's the reason why the Allies were able to capture it. These tanks, for all their impracticality and whatnot, it's a sort you think of when you hear the word tank. When I hear the word tank, I think more like modern day tanks, Abrams, Challenger, Leopard, but
there isn't one, and we've had no record of it being here at all. At least we've got this. the steering wheel, which is a start, and it's our intention to complete the work as close to the original specification as possible, and this is going to be a fascinating and challenging project.
The project will be led by a workshop team, supported by a range of carefully selected partners from across...
Alright, I think I think it would be, again, one of only 2 in the world. It is a very expensive process. Oh, my internet does not seem to be cooperating at all today. I keep on seeing it buffering and loading. How is the quality for everyone? Is it actually going, or we could always reschedule if we need to, but we'll see how things go. They're awesome to look at, but they weren't that good when they were supposed to do. Oh yeah, no, they were horrible. The audio is going crazy. Let's monitor that. Let's see. I will pull up my own stream. Okay, yeah, it seems like it's good now. Okay. Yeah, it's going good now. So, I think it's just an internet connection thing. It seems to be going in and out. But, yeah, no, these tanks were horrifically, they were just not logistical decisions when it came to fighting the Germans. It made things for the Allies much easier than they otherwise would have been. Oh, dear, like now. You know, this is making me start to wonder if we shouldn't... So I'm staying in an Airbnb at the moment, right? I've been sort of living in Airbnbs for a while, sort of hopping around. The one that I'm in right now, they've said has had an iffy internet, like they're having an issue with it, and they are trying to get that fixed. Let's do a speed test really quick and make sure I'm not downloading anything on Steam. I'm not downloading anything on Steam. I wonder if... Oh god, yeah. Megabits per second download is 2, apparently. This is supposed to have some of the best internet, like, okay, now it's up to 4. Upload is 6 or 7, by the looks of it. 8. I'm wondering if I should reschedule the stream for the Master of Command stream that I did. You pause and I F5 the stream and it comes back. I'm good now. All right, well, we'll just forge on. We'll see how well it does, and we'll give it like a half an hour or so, and we'll go from there. I'll just act as if everything is totally fine. But anyways, the we're gonna be raising money for it. The reason why I'm doing like a little crowdfunder version, because obviously you can make a donation directly yourself via their website in the description down below. But I would also like to donate at the gold tier, because if you donate £1,000, you get like a couple of extra little bonus things that might be good for content, I was thinking. So I'm doing my own little separate fundraiser. You can see the counter for it is way up there in the corner. And if we manage to get there, then I'll get all sorts of fun bonuses, again, for content, while I am still obviously able, regardless of where that money counter winds up, whether it's the $10 as it is right now, or whether it reaches $50,000, it'll all be going to the Tank Museum by the end of that 22 days, at the absolute least. So with that, let us begin. Another bit of intro, I suppose. You all may remember a long while ago when I watched and reacted to the American military parade, the 250th Army Anniversary Parade that happened a couple of months ago. It was something. It was kind of awful in a lot of different ways. And so I thought, what better way to cleanse out the palate now that we're hopefully getting back into regular live streaming, internet connections notwithstanding? What better way than to watch a real parade? Now, I've got about 2 hours to spend with you all today, I think, so I may have to skip around a little bit in the course of all this, but we'll go from there. Got the exact weight, but they're very, very heavy. You can learn about them in the Household Cavalry Museum in London. As an American taxpayer, you're welcome. Yeah, no, as another American taxpayer, I gotta say, the entertainment that I got out of the parade was probably not worth the expense that we put into it. Now, I am going to skip around a little bit to get to the part where... Wait, hold on. They're actually already... Oh, I thought we were going to see the parade down the mall. I guess we're just going to start off. We're already on the square, and we're ready to go. All right, we're all lined up. See what sort of show they put on. Which regiment was it this year? It was... Oh, it was Coldstream. Okay. The Tank Museum had a run-in with the Anti-Tank Museum. Oh, that's never any good. They ran out of fuel halfway along the way. It was horrible, but we're trying to refuel them and get that Tiger running. You're moving to the UK, is that right? I mean, hopefully. I am hoping to do so. It is, very, very difficult. Very difficult. I believe that's just all the shouting of the NCOs getting the dress right, which is wonderful. Yep, yeah, that's all the NCOs. Dressing a line that long must be kind of crazy, because normally they do it by, like, half companies, and this is obviously a lot of men per. Something that always amazes me watching footage like this as well is I've been on this, like, field many, many times before, right? I've walked along this area, I've seen the memorials on either side, walked to this one over to Horse Guards. It feels, when you're there, it feels so small, but then when they have it all cleared, and they have the stand set up, and all of them on a parade, it's like, oh my god, where did all this space come from? It's huge. How hot do the bear caps get? As I understand it, the bearskin caps can get pretty warm, but they are also a lot lighter than you'd think, because they're not, like, filled in all the way. They have, like, a wicker, I don't know what the kind of wood is, but it's a frame inside, so it's all open air. So it's not, like, crazy, but it is still a bit of extra weight. Even if they are light, it's big for a hat. And, it definitely, like, obviously it's all black and it's fur, so it will get pretty warm just naturally with that. Alright, we can skip ahead a little bit to when things are happening. I think His Majesty is still to be paraded down the way. Blah, blah. Here's the carriage. They're gonna zoom along. Stand. Oh. Oh. And let's skip ahead a little bit to when we actually get to the parade itself, because we can watch carriages go down all day, every day, but it tends to be the same thing. Here, let's look a little bit at the procession here. What? Hold on, I'm not sure if that's audio on my end, or if that's the... Let's see. It was like stuttering and repeating. Okay, that's on their end. We're gonna skip forward a little bit. There's something like there was multiple microphones and it was playing the same audio over and over and over again. So you like England, right? I do. I like all of the UK. I always enjoy my time there. I want to settle and live there permanently. It's the history that I work with. Yes, I do. Audio is still weird. Seems a little bit better now. They're proceeding down the mall. I've been in those crowds before, waking up at like flipping like 4 a.m. or whatever to get the train into London to make sure that I'm standing right there in the very front. I've stood like down on that side before. Oh, I've also stood like way off, right on the corner of with Buckingham Palace before while watching. So we are donating to get a King Tiger up and running at the Tank Museum. Yes, indeed we are, Mr. R-Wing. There is no super chats enabled for this stream. If you would like to have a thing pop up and I can read the message and get all excited for you while still struggling with my cough, then you will find a link in the description down below. We are donating hopefully up to £1,000 so that I can donate at the gold tier and get all sorts of fancy little bonuses. We are trying to get a King Tiger tank up and running and operational. See, here's the thing. Not only is it really cool to see a King Tiger tank running and operational and everything, but there's only actually one other King Tiger in the world that is actually in running order. Has my stream gone and died? Nope, we are back. We're good. There's only one other in the world, and so we need to have more than just one, so we can have more opportunities, more events, more parades, and more like tank festivals and whatnot with the thing, right? And here's the most important thing of all. That other tank is in France. It's French. And that just doesn't sit right with me. The British should have one too, so link in the description down below if you are so inclined. Have I considered applying for work at Royal Armouries Leeds? I would consider applying for work anywhere that I could, but getting a working visa is incredibly difficult, especially in the humanities, and I would not hold out my luck for it. I am shooting, hopefully, for a global talent visa. For a global talent visa from this book that I've been working on, from the zombie book. So here's the thing, even if you hate zombies, buy the book to support me. I'm trying to get over to England. It would be very helpful. Alright, we're proceeding along. We're proceeding along. The little waves, they must always give the little waves. Good music, look at all the fancy outfits and the big hats. It's always good, but we do want to get to the actual parading proper. You know, this actually works out pretty perfectly because I said we have about 2 hours to go, or 2 hours that I can stream for. Oh, well, the actual parade is going to be about 2 hours long. Baffled why you'd want to restore a Nazi tank, to be honest. Because it's history. Because if we're going to understand how the Nazis operated, how their war effort operated, we need to understand the material concerns thereof. You can't just focus on the history of the good guys and go from there. It's a fascinating piece of the history of armored warfare. It is a fascinating piece of Second World War history, and it really helps to demonstrate the flaws of the Nazi regime and how honestly incompetent they were in a lot of regards, and how driven they were by image and aesthetic and Bewegungskrieg and the triumph of the will, and trying to apply that to a military science, whereas the Western Allies were being much more practical with things. It's interesting history, and I think it deserves to be remembered. I think that it deserves to be contextualized, obviously, as understanding that it belongs to the bad guys, and something tells me that the Bovington Tank Museum does a good job at that. So with all of that, links in the description down below. If you agree with me, you can put your money where your mouth is, and we can help restore it to running order. Why are we watching the Trooping of the Color in October? It's my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Boom Boy. And, we can look at it already. I don't need to see it moving. Well, then I'm glad that you get equal enjoyment out of that. Personally, I think that I would rather see it moving. I'd like to see it operational. That would also help to teach us more about the vehicle. It also helps to train, of course, heritage engineers. There's all sorts of benefits, both locally, nationally, and globally, to restoring a piece of history like that. Anyways, why are we watching the Trooping Club in October? Because I wanted to do a reaction to it after watching the horrific American parade earlier in the year, and this was the first opportunity that I actually had to do so because the last Airbnb that I was staying in, I didn't really have the opportunity to record because it was a one-bedroom, so my office space was set up in the living room, which is where my fiance was also living, and I didn't want to bother her too much with live streaming. Also, the internet connection was kind of horrific. Internet connection here seems a little bit better, and I have a separate office environment now, so I can do so. Is that your official or personal birthday? That's true, Boom Boy. What are we talking here? Because, of course, the Trooping of the Color, as you may all know, is set for the King's birthday. But it's also the same day every year, regardless of who the monarch is. So it is for the official birthday celebration, not on the actual day. It being better to have a military parade in a warmer climate than in the dead of rainy, chilly, humid winter. That being said, they might consider changing the date to be a little bit earlier or later in the year recently because of the whole, global warming thing, and our poor guardsmen keep on passing out. Look at that fence post! Isn't that wonderful? That line right between the ranks. That is very well dressed. He's got an officer. Oh, never mind. He's mounted. I thought that was an officer. on foot there. Yeah, no, that looks pretty good. The officers are in a pretty decent line. Helmets are gleaming. The wind is fluttering in the bearskins. Things are going wonderfully. I thought it was funny in the Patriot Part 0 you said, I got to Redcoat reenacting because they were like battle droid. Yeah! The exact dead opposite of what it was. In fact, this whole idea of like modern day military parading, where every soldier needs to be stock still and like a perfect automaton and blah blah blah. In the 18th century, that was very much not how parading worked. Even in like most of the 19th century, parading was a much more casual affair, much more practical affair. This whole like perfect stock still, that wasn't really a thing. And you would expect to see soldiers like occasionally sort of like glance around. It was just sort of a thing that happened. This is very much a modern ideal of parade. The real emphasis on exactness is very much like a 20th century development onwards. I find the full dress uniforms to be more suited to October. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Post the parade on the real day for you. Alright, they're just sort of inspecting things. I know it's because of when people are in mourning, but the black armband is a pretty great look too. I want to say the mourning here was from an air accident? I don't... It was kind of so long ago. A few months, it was so long ago. I don't remember the exact cause of the official mourning period. It was some disaster. Went to the Major General's review last year. Got to hear a wonderful pipe band. Oh, that would be wonderful, yeah. I'd love to be able to sit in the crowd in person one of these days and see a ceremony like this. My friend Daryl has gotten tickets to see the actual performance before, and I am very, very jealous of him. Alright, we're coming up to... Was that to the shoulder? I hear the shouting. What Swedish-made tank is Brendan's favorite? I don't really know any Swedish tanks. I'm not sure. Alright.
Those who lost their life.
Ah, right, they're gonna play the taps. And look at that, we've had our wing with $13.35. I believe that is 10 pounds. Donated. We in the UK already have a working Tiger tank. We should have a working King Tiger also, just to one-up the French, if any. That's what I'm saying. The Tank Museum has the full working Tiger. Now they can join it with the successor vehicle and be one-ing up the French as they go. It's a wonderful cause, I agree. Thank you very much, sir. And look at that, after just one stream, after just, in fact, 25 minutes of one stream, we are now officially 1.56% of the way towards a, admittedly, quite massive goal. Thank you all so much. The last post, yeah, taps might be an American term. That might be my American, coming through. They refer to as taps, but, yes, the last post. My apologies. I'm sorry. Look, we all slip up on occasion, right? No one's perfect. The last post. All the Commonwealth flags. Oh, we're good. Did it go back to it again? Alright. Are we gonna... No, and then just God save the king. Alright, here we go. Some actual marching. Something here, actually, that is really... So, here, look. Something that is, like, in so many parades. In the American parade, we saw it. In, like, Indian parades. Even in, like, French parades. Every parade, right, regardless of where you go, they always have a little... In fact, here, I have one. I can demonstrate. It's completely irrelevant, but I can demonstrate. They always have one of these. They have a little microphone that's just slapped onto the top of a man's uniform, so that way when he says, "Your Majesty, permission to march off the brigade to do the twirly thing that you so enjoy us watching, blah, blah, blah." And then the king would go... It's like they lean into the microphone. Yes, permission granted. Very good, sir, we'll have blah, blah, blah. there's always this massive microphone so that they can blare off what all the commands are so that all of the audience can overhear. And it feels just so, like, touristy. It feels so fake. It feels like, what are we doing? What is this? What are we doing? I love... Live by the pedantic sword, die by the pedantic sword. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I love so much that in the vast majority of the British parading tradition, they don't faff about with any of that because they're there for their own sake. They aren't there to put on a show for all the plebs, out and about. They're there because ceremony and drill has a value all its own. He's not shouting out so that all of the people around can be like, oh, how quaint, is so old, he's shouting for the band. No, he's issuing a command to his band members so they can do the thing that he's like, it's real. It actually serves a function. It serves a purpose. And I think that is so cool. It's so real, right? Now, one thing that I'm not as much of a fan of is, having, like, everything... Now, for the band, it makes more sense, but the British, they do things at, like, a much more open order than would have been done historically. And I think open order is kind of boring, but that's a small complaint. I guess with the band, you can't really have these, you can't have the ranks tightened up all too much more when it comes to a band, because you have these giant drums, obviously. But for the infantry, it's like the foot of every man should be replacing the step of the man in front of him when they're on the march. I feel like you could bring them a little bit closer to shoulder. Like, you could tighten this up by half, and it would probably be functional. I could be wrong, though, there when it comes to the band. Used to watch every year since age 5. Got Airfix cards. Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to get into, one of these days when I'm, like, settled down again and I actually, like, have a home. I'd like to get a bunch of little, like 28mm plastic soldiers to paint up and have like a full display like that. It would be really cool. I don't know if you knew this, but in Master of Command, the roses and the hats for veteran. Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, that's a good thing to add in, Merritt. I appreciate that. I'm realizing now as well that we have music for the donation announcements playing on top of music for the dono alerts. Maybe that's something to fix for the next time we do this, but BDW has given $25 saying, Rule Britannia from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for your generosity, bringing us already up to 3% of the way towards our final goal. If anyone out there wants to put us up to a nice, even, smooth $50, that would be fantastic. But in any case, 25 is exceedingly generous. Thank you very much, and I know that the Tank Museum shall appreciate it when the time comes. I do love a good ordinary time. It's called slow march these days. Napoleonic could be ordinary. Some of these men are lifting up their toes a little bit high for my taste, but it's not. It's a small thing. Whoa! Look at what are you doing there, guy? Oh, that's how he has to. Wait, hold up. He wasn't... He's actually... Is he like an NCO? I've never seen him do this before. Because you'll notice he raises... And he lowers it down as if it's with the staff to indicate, alright, we're going to begin the turn now. I wonder if he's an NCO and that's his way of marking, like, now boys, like, we're going to go... I've never noticed that before. That's really cool. I doubt we'll make it tonight, but good to see the momentum picking up. Oh, yeah, no, we're definitely not going to make that goal tonight. $1,500 would be insane. If I could be raising that in a single night, I'd be staying in a much nicer Airbnb, I can tell you what, because I'd be able to probably raise that amount of money for myself as well. But, yeah, no, if we could raise that in a night, then the goal itself as well will be much higher. But over the course of a month, I think we're going to have a pretty good odd at getting to our maximum amount there. We'll have a couple of Halloween-themed streams. We'll get some variety. That's what that word is. I love the little clock tower and horse guards. Very cute. What originally got me interested in British military stuff? Just learning about the American War of Independence in grade school. The way they always portrayed it was like the British were these automaton Star Wars robot like type things, and I thought that was really cool. I thought that the uniforms were cool. I thought the way that they marched in perfect lines was really cool. Obviously, that's not at all the case of what the British Army actually was in the 18th century, but it was enough to get me started on this long journey. Denmark does it well. The Royal Guard's drill is sharp, but also has a 19th century aspect. Yeah, the Danes do really cool parading as well. Guards, uniform. There's one thing that I do not like about the Danish Guard outfits, which is that, well, here's the thing. We'll do this one here. No, none of these are showing it off all too well. Okay, here we go. Let's pull this up. Here we go. All right, not really the best quality image to show you, but like, I love the idea of having cross belts. Very 18th century, very, very cool idea. But like, I think they could be shortened up a little bit. They're a little bit too long for my taste, and so it looks like a smidge sloppy when they're a bit long. And because there's no belt on the bottom, the tunic, the coat being so long, it makes it look kind of misshapen. You see what I mean? Like, if you look at the guards, right, coats, I'll just do this. If you look at the, right, here we are. I accept, sure, whatever. All right, whatever, my cropping is making it all weird. But if you look at this coat, the white belt to break up this sea of red really goes a long way towards making it seem like shorter, you know, towards like having it be a nice fine cut. CJS, $10. Thank you very much indeed. That is very, very kind of you. And it goes, once again, a long way. My friends, we are already at $58 now. Very nearly 4% of our goal. Will we make it to 5% by the stream's end? Oh, I think that we shall. But yeah, I really like the way that the white belting here helps to cut it off. Whereas here, it looks a little bit mistailored. That's a good way to put it. It's not a bad outfit, but like, it just, as well, like something about the shape of the color of the trousers, because it's the blue, I feel like we can see the shadowing on it a lot more easily. And so it makes the trousers look a little bit sloppy towards the pant leg. It makes the coat look a little bit larger than it should, and the belts are a little bit too long as well. I think that if you were to add thin cross belts, like a Sam Brown belt style, but a thin cross belt or other kind of belting onto a coat like this, and then cinch up the trousers a little bit. Yeah, they look a little flared. Yeah, that's true. If you were to have these be much tighter, more like breeches, and have the belts be more narrow with a belt across the waist, ooh, boys, that would be sharp. That would be a very sharp look. Yeah, so like he's there issuing command for his men, not for anyone else to overhear. Oh, that looks good. Ooh, I don't know this march. The duty drummer stepping out. That's a nice march. If anyone knows what that march is called, then let me know. I haven't heard that one before, I don't think. That might be a competitor for one of my favorites at this point. Typically, General Mitchell is the one that I listen out for. Nice camera angles they've got this year as well. And you want to know what the amazing thing is I'm not paying attention to their step. Why am I not paying attention to their step? Because it's correct. It's good. Sounds like a strong one, like Colonel Bogey or Voice of the Guns. Honestly, I'm not too much of a fan of Colonel Bogey, but Voice of the Guns is pretty classic. I do enjoy Voice of the Guns. Sergeant Major, overlooking the men. Who is the current sergeant? I don't know which one that is. It used to be. Is his name Stoke or something? No, I'd be wrong on that. I don't remember. The Livgard Husarn. I don't know if I've seen their uniforms before. I feel like I may have seen them before alongside of some Swedish cavalrymen at a parade, at an inspection of the household cavalry that I went to once. They had a couple of Swedish and I think a couple of Danish cavalrymen like riding in the rear, accompanying the household cavalry. They had a very sharp look about them, yeah. Oh, okay, it was Garrison Sergeant Major Andrew Stokes. Okay. But yeah, I was gonna say, for some reason Stokes is in my mind, but I'm not, like, I could be way off with that. Yeah, that's, okay, it is Stokes. Wait, current GSM is Vern. I thought... Vern Stokes. Vern or Andrew? I don't know. Either way, Stokes. It is Stokes. I was right on that. Be an interesting idea to add violins to a marching band. That'd be interesting. I would be willing to entertain that idea to see how it goes. Here's my take. Vern is the nickname. Okay. That makes sense. Here's my take, right, is we need to bring back the serpent. Here, like, look, I'll show you. Coldstream 18th century band. Coldstream Guards have an 18th century band, and they are the heckin' coolest thing. There's so few pieces to actually, like, show off what they look like. There's so little... Here, actually, there's a, there's, like, a video of them. Here we are. Look at it. Oh, before we get to that, though, Miraz has given $1.65 to bring us up, not only to 50, but bringing us up, in fact, to 60. They said, hey, 50, but they're off by 10 on that. We are now up to $60, my friends, towards restoring a King Tiger tank to running order, beating the French, as is the appropriate thing to do, and we're already 4% of the way towards our contribution thereof. Thank you very much, sir. That's very kind of you. Look at these boys. Look at these boys. They got the jingling Johnny. They got the oboes and the bassoon. I think that's the bassoon. And they've got the serpent. I say, bring back the serpent. Because look at that guy. Look at that thing. I have no idea what they sound like, but they look fantastic. Yeah. Bring back the serpent. Bring back the jingling Johnnies. Maybe a little bit of turkery, but maybe that's a little... That might be a little collar stretchy these days, which I understand. Coldstream Reenactment Group has restarted the Napoleonic Music Network in the association. Not heard anything but a serpent this time. Ooh, though, that's fun. That's good to know. The music they were playing is called The Garrison, which is dedicated to stuff. Oh, okay. Nice. Must have been inspired by the Mater. Oh, yeah. 18th century military music was very heavily inspired by, like, Ottoman musical tradition. Like, they often purposely sought out, like, black drummers for that reason, because it was the 18th century, something that they did. They would clad them in turquerie, so, like, like, turbans and, like, fanciful outfits that were vaguely Eastern themed, and they would have Eastern style instruments. It was very, very common. Not for the, like, you know, for the drummers and fifers of a regiment, but for the military bands that colonels would get on top of that. Good stuff. Good stuff. Any place to read about that? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but if you just do a search for, like 18th century military band, here, I can pull up a some examples. If you just, like, do a search for turquerie in 18th century bands or 18th century military bands, you'll pretty quickly find resources. Turquerie, I think, is with a Q. Turquerie, I think? Maybe? Let's see here. I have a good classic picture that I can show you for it in my horrifically poorly organized image filter. Here we go. Oh, this is a classic. I love this picture. Get a load of these boys. 18th century. So this guy has a turban, massive drum. It looks like a hat, like a sort of like a serpent. Here's another guy with a turban. I can't tell if he actually is not white or not, but it was very common that for these bands, they would purposely seek out like African descended people for their musicians and whatnot. It was a time. It was history. There you go. See, my only thing is I would want these boys to be way closer to the front rank. That was good dressing, right? They looked good. They do this without a word of command, going back up to the front. That's all cool. But if I had my choice, I would have them be way closer, and then maybe even add a third rank. What in the world is going on with our goal? I just look up at the total. 60.0008. I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully that will correct itself. We're up to $60. They'd look for exotic folk. Yeah, exotic folk. That's a good way to put it. The classic British Grenadiers as they march on to receive the colors. How is the step? The step is pretty good. The step is pretty solid. How do they see through those caps? You hold your head up as much as you can, and you rely on the man next to you. I always think that this looks like a pretty great opportunity. Like, if it's sliding a little bit far down, you can use this to try to shove it back a little bit. And you can tell that some of them are definitely like, some of them will just go through the motion. Some of them really like, whoa, they really throw their heads back there. I may be a little dizzy. I shouldn't do that. Someone must have donated another currency. Yeah, I imagine that it was non-dollars that made it a specific amount or something. I think you may have sold us short. Looks like it's gonna hit 5% pretty soon. Hey, what can I say? See, I'll let you in on a little secret. You set a goal for people that is slightly distant but highly achievable, and they feel more inspired to make it happen. Like, I can be the one that hits the 5% goal that Brandon said. So it's a nice little way to like slide that in there, and then he'd be like, "Whoa, 5%! That's pretty good. No way we'll hit 10% on this stream." And then you start niggling people to hit that 10%. Normally, I'd feel very guilty doing that kind of thing, but this is a charity live stream, which means, unlike normally, I can plead and beg you all for money as much as I like, because it's all for restoring a King Tiger 2 tank, the sort of which was captured by brave fellas like these, 80-something years ago now. Good stuff. If you make content about the English Civil War, I will definitely be making content about the English Civil War. I can't say anything about what kind it would be, though, yet, because I need to learn a lot more about it. The order definitely got messed up there along the way, but that's why you dress. I mean, that makes sense. It is natural. That's why you dress the lines. Something that the American military, the American Army would do very well to realize you could do. I don't think these guys look like about 80 years old. Oh, no, the guards, they have a great skincare routine. Good. Am I a monarchist? Yes, I am. I am a monarchist in the sense of I support I support His Majesty King Charles III, the British royal family. I don't think it's perfect. I think there are some changes that should be made. I have my opinions, obviously, but I support the British monarchy as it stands, like presently. I don't think that every country should have a monarchy. I don't think it's like a objectively best ideology type thing. I think it is where it is. I think it's served very well, and I want to see it continue to do so. Much more clean and professional, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I agree. Alright, now the new guard is going to accept the colors, I believe, giving a salute to it. Yep, giving a salute to the colors. They're going to pass on down to the new ensign. I believe he will sheath his sword. God, I love the salute. Such a good look. Now, this maneuver right here may not look all that impressive, but sheathing a blade without, like, you know, really fumbling and looking down. Let's see if he looks down. No. He did not look down at all. There was a slight adjustment that he had to make there, but that was sharp. That was good. That was pretty good. He accepts the colors. He shall spin about and rejoin his battalion? I'm not sure exactly how many men are there. I love the little spin that they do on either side with like the high port there. Very good look. I'm not sure what function that actually serves. Like what it's ceremonially it's meant to do or what it's meant to be, but it looks really good. Sheathing a sword while wearing that hat is yeah, it's really impressive. And they go on back. The ensign marches back along. Not sure if you heard or not, but there's a Haydn symphony where at the end people with a jingling Johnny triangle and a drum march through the audience. Oh, that's fun. No, I haven't heard that one before. Look at that! Look at that! 1945! What a perfect amount to give. It also restored our count there to a proper number. 1945 from Merritt. Thank you very much, Merritt. That's very much appreciated. Saying, you should have seen the Canadian bandsmen at Waterloo this year. They played all day. Got the 37C on the second day, so hats off to them. That is very impressive. God, I hope I get to go to the Waterloo reenactment sometime in my life. Some point, sometime. Remember to buy my book when it's out. Help with that immigration process. Fingers crossed. But thank you very much. That is very generous of you. Brings us up to $79.45 towards our goal, my friends. 5.3%. At the very least, we're going to hit, I think, $100 by the end of it here. Will we hit 10%? Did I ever do a video on bearskin hats? I don't recall. I made a video about bearskin caps like 10 years ago as one of my very first videos. I don't even know if it's like still up or not because it's not very good. But yeah, I should do another one. I'd love to get my hands on one of these bad boys and talk with a soldier about the thing. That would be a great video. The donation progress bar psyop has definitely worked. Yep. It's all about the psyop. It's all about tricking people into giving money towards a good cause. My apologies, everyone. Still recovering from a cough. The order was bending a little bit there towards the center, as you saw. Am I a Catholic? I am not. No, I do not consider myself a Christian. I think there's a great deal of wisdom in Christianity, and I am a big fan of a lot of the culture of the Church of England. Not perfect, has its problems. I like going to services, though. I pretty regularly attend Church of England services when I'm in the UK, but I don't consider myself a full believer in Trinitarian theology. Am I leaving the US? God, I hope. Hold on, I feel like we missed a pretty snazzy maneuver there. Here we go. The band... Oh, I think that was the pinwheel that we saw, which... Yep. Then they come about, or at least like the two sections of the band. They were doing something. I gotta focus more on the actual... I guess, you know what this is there's so much less to complain about in this parade, so it really just represents a way to converse with the audience while watching something snazzy together. And you know, I think that's fair. That works out, actually. It's a way to hang out and watch a nice parade as we go. Now, why are you spun about while all the others are facing forward? I'm not sure about that. Oh, alright. Oh, unless it just froze there and he was just a little later in spinning? I'm not sure. That's interesting. When you move over to the UK, would I do a collab with Lindy British? I would be open to such a thing, to conversing with them. And the UK isn't much better, to be honest. That sounds like someone who is either never been to the UK or never been to the United States, or doesn't follow the politics very closely of either. I'm not saying it's perfect, but my god, I prefer one to the other. The guy in the middle is the senior drum major. He's the new one, though. It's his first trooping this year. Oh, good to know. See, like, I don't like the gaps here. This is, like, way too loose for me. What I think the British Army needs to bring back and get better with is we need to, again, tighten up the orders. Have this not just be, like, a sort of like a caterpillar following itself. Have it be that each file is wheeling as it goes in. Wheeling is an art that the Army has largely forgotten about. And I think that that's very sad. Because wheeling is like the coolest thing. And there's a great opportunity for wheeling that they don't take later on in the parade that I'll show you when we get there. He turns so we can watch when to call the cutoff for the new tune to play. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Alright, guys, we're not going to talk about modern-day politics and modern-day events. We're here to watch a parade. Let's move on from that. Could you move to Italy? I don't know really what that process would look like. I don't have much of an interest in going to Italy. I mean, maybe I could, but I don't know. Irish Guards at the Sliglice tattoo? I'm not familiar with that one, but alright. Be a future episode maybe at one point. I always enjoy this little maneuver. This is a sharp movement. If you're gonna have a very like wide amount of space between your files, doing stuff like this is pretty cool, I will acknowledge. Bring up an old trooping, the color and compare, it's incredible. The old, yeah, they look pretty good. Although I will say that everyone always harps on like, oh, the standards are dropped so much these days. I think a large part of why things look so sharp in older years is also because the camera qualities were so much less, and they had less cameras, so you genuinely just didn't see as much. And also, having a longer rifle does make the drill a little different. I think that the SA-80 is a little bit more clumsy on the drill. I still like that they're using the modern rifles, but, I don't know. It's going to... No, why would we not discuss it? We're not going to discuss it because we're not here to talk about politics. And I think that you're relying on a very particular online narrative, which is, to say the least, exceedingly flawed. And I don't want to get into tearing through all of that right now. We're here to watch a parade. We're here to enjoy ourselves. You're a little slanted there, my guy. But a little... I think he's losing his balance a little bit. He maybe stepped back a little bit further than he should have. But, in fact, that guy's doing it a little bit, too. Is that how they do it? Meant to be over the left knee, I know, but it seemed like they were a little bit, like, yeah, it's a little tilted. Maybe it's the camera angle, because I feel like all these guys are, like, a little bit up to the side. It's smaller. Does that not make it better for parades? That might, you know what? It might just be that it looks sharper when it's a longer rifle. But you're right, it is a smaller rifle. That might... I'm not sure. That's a good question. If you did go to the UK, you'd probably do something with Drakinifel, or however you say his name. I would love to. Absolutely. Drakinifel. I always challenge with that. See, now, yeah, it's like, these guys are really quite close there. You could, like, just have these guys standing right there, and then have them marching where they are. You could just slide it in, just a little bit. I think that would look so sharp. It's amazing how well a modern rifle fits with the historic uniform tradition. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they serve so much the same role, you know? They serve the same function, so... Yeah, like, it works. People always go on about, Alright, we're gonna just... We're gonna put you in timeout for a little while, my guy. We'll just relax from that, alright? I carried a color last year. You can't really see much of what's in front of you. Oh, I imagine so. I would love to do an ensign impression one of these days. Nice junior officer with a flag, feeling all gung-ho, ready to get into the action, and then you get just cut down by so many Frenchmen. Peak impression right there. Love it. Fixed bayonets always help to make things look more impressive. They do. They do. I don't know if I prefer the webbing from decades ago with these Scarlets or not. I think that there's definitely a really cool aesthetic to the older webbing system, but I do also like the more sleek, the more cut down single belt look. I think that they both look pretty good. Personally, I think I do prefer the older system with like the two belts. It feels like more combat focused. Like, you know, these guys could just go out and actually fight at a moment's notice type thing, with the ammunition pouches and whatnot. But I don't mind the change. Like, I'm not going to be one of those guys that says, like, they need to go back when we had a country, they looked good back then, they don't look good now. It's like, it's nonsense. They look good. When they go through the ranks like this, they sometimes adjust the fellow guards' bayonets and they see where they're marching past. Oh, that's funny. Hold on. Sometimes you can see it. I'm not sure what you're referring to when you say adjust. As in, like, reach out really quick to... I'm not sure what you mean when you say that. That's funny, though. Seems like the horse had to go there. God, those modern-day belt buckles as well, like, that's a sharp-looking buckle. I really like that. But the Coldstream have a great look. Buttons in pairs, the nice red plume. Coldstream have a really good look. I got to carry a Cub Troop flag round Valley Parade. I mean, that counts. That's a form of trooping, right? Alright, everyone has seen the flag now. We can line ourselves back up. Nice. God, holding at the present for so long must be miserable. All those guys in the ranks are just get to the end, please. Like, you can do this in quick time. I've seen the flag. I know what the flag looks like. Just get to the end already. Does anyone know what the name of these guys are? The ones who are always at the ends with the, like, the little guidon flags? I always forget their name. Imagine giving the guards a Martini Henry for a day. Wouldn't that be oh, that would be a suck. It's miserable to hold to the present for that long. Yeah, really. Like, I know it is personally with a musket. I imagine it is for an SA-80 as well. I'm not sure how the weights compare. And obviously a musket is like, a little bit, like, it's longer, but I imagine it's miserable for the SA-80 as well. Hopefully nobody has to march behind the horse. Oh, it's inevitable at a parade like this that you're going to step in some stuff. It happens. Or at least that someone will. Sometimes the bayonet sheets are misplaced and the ones marching past will flick them to the right. Ah, okay. Makes sense. The Marching Lance Sergeant. Oh my. Alright. I guess it makes sense to give the Lance Sergeant the big ol' flag that looks kind of like a lance. The about turn is used as like a single motion nowadays, which also seems like it's unnecessarily like difficult. You know, 18th century, it's a 2 count to do a, for a right face, it's 1 count because you just do it for the most part. For the right about, it's you place the foot to the rear, then you spin, then you bring it back up. It's like a 2 motion thing. Are those spadroons? No, a spadroon is slightly different. That one is a flag. It has a flag on it. Oh, no, spadroon is a sword. I'm thinking spontoon. I thought you were asking about that guy with the spontoon. I don't know what kind of swords they're carrying. It might be technically a spadroon. They're not sabers. I know they're not sabers. They are straight. SA-80 is slightly heavier than a Bess. Okay. Well, now, when you say Brown Bess, what actual musket are you referring to? You Shortland, India pattern? Remember, Brown Bess is just a generic catch-all term for musket back in the day. It does not refer to a specific British musket. That's recent research from the from the Royal Armories with John Ferguson, the Royal Armories.
Number 6 guard. Close.
So I said brown vest, not the brown vest. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I gotta make sure to specify for others in the audience. But very good, very good.
4 threes. Right. Guards will march past in slow and in quick time. By that.